104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.
Springfield's only pure classic rock station, 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, good morning. You know I'm a huge fan of the Moody Blues. I actually have a Moody Blues lyric tattooed on my arm. So it is with great pleasure that I have a few minutes on the phone with Mr. John Lodge, bass player from the Moody Blues this morning. How are you today, sir?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, fine. Thank you very much. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
So you guys are currently in Las Vegas playing a couple shows right now, right?
Yeah, we got 4 to 5 shows here in Vegas, and that sort of ends the January part of the Moody Blues Days of Future Past tour.
That's awesome. And most recently, you did your first solo album you've put out in a very long time. I think the last one you put out was 77, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a big window of time between the solo records. But the most recent one, the 10,000 Light Years album came out, and then you went out and did a tour and just got a new live record called Live from Birmingham, the 10,000 Light Years Tour, which looks incredible. I was looking at some of the stuff you got on the Pledge Music. The red signed vinyl looks incredible. So tell me about the record that you got out right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I saw the vinyl was making a really good comeback, and I like the sound of vinyl records. And that sort of gave me the impetus, really, to say, oh, let's go do this. And so I'd written a song called 10,000 Light Years ago. I always knew the album was going to be called that. So I recorded that album. And then what I wanted to do then was tour with it, because when I recorded Natural Avenue in the 70s, I never ever toured with that album. And it always left me thinking, I never completed the circle, really. I really needed to have toured. So I definitely wanted to tour with 10,000 Light Years. And then, so I toured the UK, and then I said to my agent, I want to finish at Birmingham Town Hall, because I'm from Birmingham, and Birmingham Town Hall was an iconic venue where every icon of American rock and roll performed. But I saw Buddy Holly there.
Oh, wow.
And, I was like 12 or 13 years of age, and I saw Buddy Holly, and I was in the front row of the circle. And I said to my agent, I want to finish the tour with me standing on stage, looking back up at that front row of the circle and thinking, yeah, there's a young Johnny Lodge up there looking at Buddy Holly.
That's cool.
And then I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to record it. And so we filmed it. And then I filmed it, went in the studio, mastered it all, and then made it into a double vinyl album. And so with a gatefold sleeve, red, as you say, red vinyl record, 180 gram. I had it cut. I cut the album at the Abbey Road Studios,
wow,
with the original equipment. And I got Roger Dean to do the artwork. I said to Roger, come on, I want something that's is John Lodge, but it's 21st century, and I think he came up with the perfect artwork for the album.
He did.
So I'm really pleased, and the whole thing was really good because, Ray, unfortunately, Ray's just passed away, but Ray was my best friend, and so when I recorded the album, I asked Ray to play flute on it on Simply Magic, and then I got Mike Pinder to play keyboards, Mellotron on Simply Magic as well. So and I launched the album in Joe's Bar in New York, and Mike and Ray did a little video for me, which I never knew anything about. It took me by surprise. But the DVD that's just been released is a double DVD. It's of the concert, but it's also of the launch of the album in New York. I also did an acoustic set, basically at Hampton Court, which was the home of Henry VIII, of course, the castle in England. And then I also filmed a lot of rehearsals and backstage at the Birmingham Town Hall to give people an insight of what really goes on, So you've got the insight, and then you've got the actual concerts on two different DVDs.
That's cool. Just a little off topic right now. I finally got into the TV show Peaky Blinders. You ever watch that show?
Yeah, of course.
So I don't have a lot of time doing what I do, and finally, everyone is just like, you got to watch a show. Cillian Murphy's just amazing and all that stuff. And I finally got a chance. I'm in season 3 right now, and oh man, it's super good. And I just keep thinking of Birmingham because I've been a big fan of you guys and you in that city. I've never been, and then of course Black Sabbath and all that stuff coming from Birmingham as well.
Yeah.
And that music scene, I read, I can't remember, I think it was Mick Wall's biography about Black Sabbath, and he does a really good job of describing that music scene in Birmingham and a lot of where you guys came from, and it just sounded so rich. At the time, a lot of talented guys came out of that area, a lot of talented guys.
It was incredible. It was a real hubbub. People talk about Liverpool, but Birmingham was unbelievable. I mean, we started out, in Birmingham, there was a lot of parks, and they'd have competitions in each park for the best local band, and then you eventually got to the final and went to another park, and there were thousands of people there, and you had to. We were all really young kids, but you really had to sort of make sure you knew what you were doing, because everyone else, all the other musicians were looking at you, and it was a great time,
Yeah, and in heavy competition, it's not like now where you can just be any schmuck with a computer and camera and post a video on YouTube. You really got to work at your craft, and you think about playing at those parks, in Birmingham, and now you guys are about ready to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is long overdue in my opinion. But this year, I mean, it's with you guys, Moody Blues, John Bon Jovi, the Cars, Dire Straits, and the very talented Nina Simone, all in that class. What are your feelings on that?
Oh, fantastic! I mean, Nina Simone. I was talking about the, Live from Birmingham is released on vinyl, and because I love the sound of vinyl, and Nina Simone's got one of my most favorite vinyl albums called Baltimore.
Yep.
And to me, that is just a beautiful album. I play that regularly, regularly. I love that album. And John Hill's in Dire Straits. I know John because we played golf together many times.
That's cool.
So that's cool. So I'm happy about that. And Bon Jovi, of course. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Bon Jovi? I think everything's been said about Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So
very, very
it's
cool.
Great. It's a wonderful group of artists this year.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make is I think this is probably one of the best inductee classes they've had in a very long time. It's straightforward and
it's a great panorama of music.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
It really is. It really is. Speaking of vinyls, I have about last count of about 1,700. I've been collecting since I was a kid. Before it came back, I got lucky because I got in and started collecting when they were still really cheap, and now they're all really expensive. So I'm glad I got my piece. But when you're at home, you listen to records on. You have a turntable and all that stuff.
Yeah. I have a turntable. I've got a turntable. I've got a wonderful amplifier with it, but I've got some JBL speakers which I use to play back, and it breathes. It makes the speakers breathe.
It does.
Vinyl makes those speakers breathe.
It does.
The bass moves, and I try to explain to people, about music and about sound. And I said, if you want to double the volume of the bass, you can't just double it. It's quadruple it. It's if you want to go from 100 to 200%, you just can't just double the sound. It's got to be multiplied by an enormous amount of times. But if you want to double the sound of electric guitar, you don't, because they don't move at the same time. And the problem with digitally recorded music is that when you turn it down, there's a little button that says loudness, because you lose the bass.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to play. If you've got digital music, you have to press that bass button, and that's artificial bass. It's not what the artist or the engineer really wanted on that record, and that's why vinyl's great. You can turn it all the way down, and you could still hear all the instrumentation.
Yeah. One thing I recently got into was buying up old mono mixes. Specifically, I guess most specifically was like the Beatles catalog. They went back through a couple years ago and remastered all of those albums back to the original mono mixes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about albums we've listened to for years and years and years and years, and I'm listening to them in a mono mix, and I'm hearing things in those mono mixes that I didn't even know were there. You know,
it was different. When we record Days of Future Past, we mixed it in stereo. We mixed everything in stereo. We never did mono, so we always came from a different place. The Beatles mixed everything in mono, and then later on, somebody put them in stereo. But you can't really do that, because if it's in stereo and it wasn't recorded in stereo, sometimes the drums are in the wrong place or the bass is in the wrong place.
Yep.
And it goes, another great example is get the original Rolling Stones album, all in mono. It's the loudest album I think I've ever heard.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was almost proto-punk if you really think about
it. And play through one speaker.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you mentioned Days of Future Past. I mean, that's incredible for that time period. Stereo was a really, really new thing, and not only were you mixing it what you guys were doing as a rock band with the full-on orchestra behind you. It was just, it's super progressive for the time. One of my absolute favorite records of all time, and like I said, I've got a tattoo dedicated to it because I love it so much. So yeah,
thank you.
Very cool stuff.
Thank you.
So I won't take up too much more of your time. I really appreciate sitting on the phone with you this morning. And again, your new live album, Live from Birmingham, the 10,000 Light Years Tour. Go check it out. That red vinyl looks amazing. John, thank you so much, and safe travels, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks, bye.
104.7 The Cave plays pure classic rock.